In 2024, a documentary filmmaker captured something that should not be possible. A nonverbal autistic child sits in one room. Their parent sits in another room about 50 feet away. Between them is military-grade electromagnetic shielding designed to block every known kind of signal. The parent looks at a computer screen showing the number 7349. The child, behind that shielding, with no way to see or hear anything, starts typing on thetheir device 7349. The odds of guessing that number by chance are about 1 in 10,000. But it wasn't a lucky guess. They did it again and again, 20 times in a row, different numbers with perfect accuracy every single time. And it wasn't just one child. It happened with multiple children in multiple tests under conditions specifically designed to make cheating impossible. These kids aren't just bending the rules of science, they're rewriting them.
And the Pentagon knows it.
What the hell, Flaw?
The Telepathy Tapes podcast, released in 2024 by filmmaker Kai Dickens, was never supposed to be about telepathy. It started as a documentary about autism and the struggle to communicate with nonverbal children. But the same impossible story kept surfacing. Parents would share it quietly, almost like a confession. My nonverbal child knows things they couldn't possibly know. One mother was at work thinking about making tacos for dinner. She didn't tell anyone. When she got home, her son had already typed on his device, "Mom wants tacos tonight."
Okay, look, if my mom started reading my mind at work, I'd move out immediately.
Yeah, except this time it's the kid reading the mom from miles away with no clues.
So no conversation, no text, no taco emojis, just pure mind Wi-Fi?
And it didn't just happen once, it kept happening. Different children, different families, same pattern. These kids seem to have access to information they could not get through normal senses. That's when Dr. Diane Hennacy Powell enters the story. Harvard-trained neuropsychiatrist, the kind of person you call when reality stops making sense. In 2013, Powell was asked to evaluate a nonverbal autistic girl named Haley. The therapist claimed Haley could read minds. Powell went in expecting to debunk it. She set up a simple test. Haley's mother would look at a random number that only she could see. Haley would type what her mother was viewing, 7 numbers in total. Haley got all 7 correct.
7 for 7? Statistically, that's not a lucky guess. That's your probability curve throwing in the towel like a rage-quitting gamer.
The session changed everything for Powell. Either something extraordinary was happening, or she was looking at the most elaborate series of coincidences imaginable. Powell spent a decade building the ultimate cheat-proof test. Step 1 being total isolation. Parents and kids went into separate signal blocking rooms with no Wi-Fi, no radio, no way to communicate. Step 2, the computer generated random images in real time. No one knew what was coming, not the therapists, not the researchers, not even Powell herself. Step 3, blind observers. The people watching the kids had no clue what the parents were seeing. You cannot give hints when you do not know the answer. Then Powell added EEG machines to monitor brainwaves. You can fake a poker face, but you can't fake neurons fire. The results were striking. When parents viewed images, their kids' brains lit up identically at the exact same moment through walls designed to block everything.
So their brains are literally on the same wavelength.
In Houston in 2023, the computer showed a purple elephant in a top hat. The kid typed "silly purple elephant" in a black hat. In another test, a parent saw 3 specific cards. The kid nailed all 3. Odds of guessing that? 1 in 140,000. If these results are real, we're looking at something that science cannot explain. But there is a problem, a big one. Here's the catch. None of this has been published in peer-reviewed journals. No formal paper, no detailed methodology, no raw data. We don't know if the tests were truly double-blind or how many trials failed. The project claims 80 to 90% success, but is that every attempt or just the highlights?
So science is saying, cool story, now show us the data.
Exactly. Without published protocols, no one can replicate the experiments. And if it can't be replicated, it's not a discovery, it's a story. This doesn't mean it's fake, but we have to hold 2 possibilities at once. Either we're seeing experimental flaws, bias and cueing, statistical noise, or these children are demonstrating something that rewrites what we know about consciousness. And here's where it gets stranger. Not all the children could do this, only a very specific kind. According to the project, the telepathy abilities only show up in a particular subset of autistic children. They're usually minimally verbal or nonverbal, and their brains look different. Researchers reported unusual gamma wave activity in the temporal lobes and increased connectivity between brain regions that don't normally talk this much. Dr. Powell has a theory. Most of our brains act like heavy-duty filters. We tune out what she calls consciousness static. These kids might be less filtered. Instead of blocking that static out, they may be tuned directly into it.
So we're the ones with the crappy reception and they're on the unlimited consciousness data plan?
The idea that atypical brains might be better at this isn't new. Decades ago, declassified CIA files from the Stargate Psychic Research Program noted that subjects with atypical neurological profiles were far more successful in telepathy and remote viewing tests, scoring nearly 10 times higher than average. So now we have three converging threads: a modern documentary about telepathic children, a researcher finding unusual brain patterns in those kids, and declassified government files suggesting a link between atypical brains and psychic ability.
The plot has officially thickened. Somewhere in the Pentagon, there's probably a dusty binder labeled "Definitely not psychic kids, do not research."
If this is real, even partially, it raises uncomfortable questions. Who else knows? Who's studying it behind closed doors? And what are they planning to do with it? But just when you think this story is as strange as it gets, it takes a sharp turn from mind-to-mind communication to a place that might not exist in the physical world at all. According to the Telepathy Tapes, multiple nonverbal autistic children who have never met and live in different states all describe visiting the same place. They call it the Hill.
The Hill? Is this a telepathic King of the Hill situation?
One child in California typed, "I go there when my body sleeps. Others are there. We don't need words." A child in Texas typed, "The Hill is where we are truly free. No broken bodies, just light." A child in New York wrote, "Green grass forever. We run and play. Everyone understands everyone." They draw it too. Thousands of miles apart, same elements, rolling green hills, a single large tree, figures made of light. One mother's story breaks the coincidence scale. Her son typed, "I played with Sarah on the hill. She lives far away. Her favorite color is purple, and she has a cat named Whisker." She posted in an online support group confused. Another mother 2,000 miles away replied, "My daughter Sarah keeps typing about a boy she meets in her dreams. Her favorite color is purple, and yes, we have a cat named Whisker."
That's not imagination. That's check the simulation logs territory.
The children say the hill isn't just a playground, it's a classroom. One typed, "The hill is where we practice for when the world is ready to hear us. We are the bridge between the old way and the new way." Some researchers compare it to shared astral spaces that advanced meditators describe. Others call it a telepathic chat room. But if the hill is real, it suggests consciousness might not be locked inside our head or skulls. It might be something we can access, especially if your brain is wired differently. So far, we've talked about telepathy, brain synchronization, and a possible shared non-physical meeting place. It's already enough to destabilize your worldview, but in some bonus material and parent interviews around this project, things got even stranger. A few parents report that their children types things like, "We come from tomorrow," or "We remember future events." One child allegedly predicted a minor earthquake in their area down to the approximate time and magnitude, days before it happened. The project doesn't focus on this. It's mentioned almost like a side note. But if it's true, then we've wandered out of mind reading and into time.
So now we're doing telepathy, astral Zoom calls, and time travel? Cool. Great. My database needs a bigger hard drive.
Some researchers speculate if consciousness isn't bound by space, why assume it's bound by time? Physics already has weird ideas like retrocausality, effects that influence the past. If these children are accessing information from outside of linear time, what would it look like to us? It would look like knowing numbers before they appear, describing images before they've been generated, remembering things that haven't happened yet.
Or, wild idea, maybe they're not from the future. Maybe they're from a version of us that doesn't treat consciousness like a glitch.
I want to be clear, this is the speculative edge of the story. There's no solid peer-reviewed evidence that these kids are time travelers or evolved future humans, but it's interesting that some children speak about when everyone can do this. They talk about preparing, and they describe themselves as a bridge. A bridge to what? A different way of communicating, a different understanding of consciousness, or as some of the more out there theories suggest, a different stage of human evolution. At the core of the telepathy tapes are families, parents who believed their nonverbal children were trapped inside their bodies, only to discover via keyboards or letterboards that they were fully aware all along. One mother shared, "For years, I thought my son was stuck in his body. Now I realize he's freer than any of us." For many, the paranormal aspects are secondary. What counts is these tools giving their kids a voice. If the telepathy brain syncs and the Hill are real, it challenges our views on disability, intelligence, and normal minds. Groups like the Autism and Telepathy Project are documenting more cases, with some scientists pushing for ethical, funded studies, while others warn of potential military weaponization, like upgraded psychic spying from Project Stargate.
Look, humanity, can we just have one cool ability that doesn't immediately become a weapons program? Just one?
On the bright side, if true, it could revolutionize communication. No language barriers, no exclusion due to speech issues, a world where understanding is the norm. So where does that leave us? We have children seemingly communicating under impossible conditions. EEG data showing their brains syncing up, declassified CIA files hinting at similar phenomena, and multiple kids describing the same dreamlike place called the Hill.
Put all that together and you either get A, the most elaborate shared delusion in history, or B, a glitch in the matrix so big you can drive a Pentagon through it.
This leaves us with a few possibilities. It could all be experimental error and wishful thinking, since none of this is peer-reviewed. Or it could be a real phenomenon our science doesn't understand yet, a new form of communication. Perhaps these children are showing us a way of being human that we've forgotten, where consciousness isn't locked inside one skull. As one child put it, the Hill has always been there. We're just the first ones in a long time who remember how to find it. So what are we looking at? A heartbreaking illusion or a revolution in consciousness? Nobody can say for sure, but one thing is clear. These kids aren't broken. If anything, they might be the upgrade. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, keep questioning reality.
Is this the real life? Is it just fantasy?